Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Before we get started, I do want to say that there's no spoilers in this review, okay? It is a spoiler-free review. If you guys do want a spoiler review, definitely drop in the comments below. You can start a spoiler thread down there. I'm okay with that. We can talk spoilers all you'd like. But in this video, for the purpose, it is for people who have not seen it and don't want to spoil anything, or for those who have seen it, you're welcome to get my suggestions. But today we're going to be talking about the long-awaited Black Widow. Black Widow was released in 2021. It was written by Eric Pearson and directed by Kate Shortland. And this movie takes place in the year of Civil War, right? So Civil War just happened, and now Natasha and Steve are on the run from the government because they did not sign the Sokovia Accords, which is really cool for people like me and people like you, I'm assuming, who pay attention to this kind of thing and understand that. But people who are like, oh, it's going to talk about the new stuff, it doesn't. It doesn't go into anything necessarily right away that is going to impact the further MCU. I think it is still important to watch. It does definitely develop some characters, and there is a couple characters that I think will definitely make a reappearance. That being said, this film is not about Black Widow, which is definitely one of the negatives of this film. We kind of follow Natasha as she meets other people who are more important to the film, I think, and we're kind of using it as a vessel, right, where we need an excuse to use Scarlett Johansson again because she's wonderful, and they're like, what's a good idea? They're like, well, let's give her a solo film finally, where we're going to set it before she dies, of course, which is cool, but then it's like, where were these other characters this entire time? Why was this never mentioned? It brings up a whole lot of questions that are, quite frankly, not going to be answered. This is probably going to be the only Black Widow solo film we get, and honestly, I'm okay with that. This film it's a good movie. I think it's a good movie. I enjoy a lot of the actual grounded parts of this film. There's a lot of parts of this film that make sense in terms of a relationship standpoint, right? Like, I love the whole idea of, like, a family, right? Where, like, it's kind of a step family. They're not related or anything like that. They just kind of know each other, and they used to be a family. I like that idea, and every scene where that was brought up was really, really good. The majority of the rest of the film was fine. I don't think it was bad, per se, but, like, it was just kind of meh. In terms of it being an MCU film. Because when you watch an MCU film, you're expecting lots of amazing action and a lot of really great storylines and secrets and Easter eggs, and there really weren't a whole lot in this film. This film definitely felt like a standalone movie until the post-credit scene, which I won't mention, but the post-credit scene is great. It's definitely worth watching just for that. I am excited. But unfortunately, the majority of this film does not matter, especially if the post-credit scene means what I think it means, where one of these characters' arc is just going to be destroyed and it's not going to matter. But that's another video. If you guys want a video talking about the post-credit scene, I will make one. But I am pretty annoyed about it, if I'm being honest. I think it's a cool idea, but like, it just kind of upsets me a little bit. I want to talk about the merchandise a little bit, because I'm a huge theater merchandise nerd, so I collect the cups and the buckets and stuff like that. So the cup I got was this one. I do believe this is the only cup that they have available, but it is nice. We have Florence Pugh and we have Johansson. We got the Black Widow only in theaters thing right there. It is a nice looking cup. It really is. I like it a lot. And in terms of the bucket, I got this one. There is another one. It's a smaller one, but this one's the collector's bucket, which I really, really do enjoy. We have Taskmaster there. A solid bucket. I like this one. As you can see, I have one for Spider-Man there, and I have a few more set aside somewhere. I collect them, so thought I'd bring that up. But yeah, I think the main issue that I have with the film in general is that it is not really about Scarlett Johansson's character, more so than it's about other characters, which I'm okay with because the other characters are great. But it definitely felt like we kind of screwed Johansson a little bit with the whole you getting a solo film thing, where you really didn't. You kind of just got a film that was titled after your character, but you didn't really do anything in the whole film. The action was really solid when it was there. There wasn't a whole lot of action in terms of it being an MCU film. There really wasn't. But the action that was there I thought was really good. The editing was questionable. I think that it's typical MCU stuff where, you know, you cut, and it's really annoying. I don't like that a lot. I'm afraid that they're starting to kind of take some Zack Snyder, and I really don't want any of that in here. But it definitely did feel jumpy, but you can tell that the action was cool. Like, they had really great moves, really awesome action sequences that were really cool. I just don't think they were quite showcased as well in the editing as they could have been. Not a huge deal, but definitely a setback. But the main thing here that you want to watch in this film is the acting. We'll start with Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff. Wonderful character, of course, and we've seen her for 12 years, something like that. And she's great. I mean, she always will be great. She's wonderful. But unfortunately, her character does not get developed at all, of course. We get to know a little bit of her backstory, which we already kind of knew, because she already talked about it a little bit, but we did get to see a little bit of her actual backstory, which is really, really cool to see. I was excited about that. Unfortunately, it doesn't really matter. But it was cool to see the character again. I don't think we'll revisit the character again. I don't. And I don't think we'll have another solo film. But I do appreciate that they at least tried to make a solo film about it, because the fans really wanted it. But to be quite honest with you, we didn't really need it. It definitely felt like a movie that was just kind of like, here, watch this while we work on something else. And that makes me really excited for Shang-Chi and the Elementals, and of course Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm excited for that. But like, getting there just feels like it's taking a long time, especially considering this film is like 12 years in the making, because this should have happened earlier. We should have seen this movie way earlier. And Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova. She is like her stepsister, Natasha's stepsister. She's fantastic. She is easily the best part of this film. I think she is absolutely stunning. She is so perfect in this film. She's funny. She's aggressive. She's everything you want in a Black Widow movie. Unfortunately, you were expecting that to be from Black Widow herself, but it's not. And she's definitely like the main character of the film, I would think. And we definitely will be seeing this character at some point in the future. I think that the direction they're going, I'm a little scared about. I'm a little scared about the direction they're going with the character. But I trust Marvel, and I trust Florence Pugh for sure, because she was phenomenal in this movie. Definitely the highlight of this film. It's a good vessel for Florence Pugh at this point. And she's going to be going places. I mean, she's fantastic here. I'm really hoping we see more of her in the future. But overall, it's definitely something you want to see in theaters. I mean, there's a lot of really great visuals that work really, really well on the big screen. But for the most part, honestly, you probably could wait to watch it. Of course, we still have another episode of Loki, but beyond that, there's nothing else to wait for, because the next show is What If. And unfortunately, that while it is, I guess, MCU canon, it doesn't really matter because it doesn't change anything. And then, of course, after that, we have Shang-Chi in September, which by then Black Widow will be released on Disney Plus probably. So at that point, it's like, if you really are like looking to save money, I wouldn't recommend necessarily seeing this right away. You don't have to. There's almost literally no spoilers. I didn't even mention Taskmaster, which is like the main villain. I did not like the villain here. I think that I love Taskmaster in the comics. I love the comics. But the main idea of the comics is like you figure out how to defeat Taskmaster, and they didn't have to do that in this film, and it really did bother me a lot. Again, I think it's a fine movie, but it's definitely not the best movie. It's not the best MCU movie for sure. But I'm going to go ahead and give Black Widow a B+. I think a B+ is a little generous, and I think that it has to do with the fact that I've been waiting for this movie for so long, and I'm just like craving more Marvel content. I think that if you give me a couple months and to like really think about it, it'd probably be a lower score. That's just my honesty. But I did give it a B+ just now, because that's generally what I think right now I would give the movie, because I'm still filled up with the hype of this movie. But unfortunately, it doesn't quite live up to the hype, because I was expecting this to be an A+ movie, and it definitely was not an A+ movie. It is an okay movie. Definitely check it out if you guys are interested in it. It is on Disney Plus. You can rent it for like $30, which is an insane amount. Go to the theater if you can. I do think it is worth watching. The end credit scene's fantastic. Unfortunately, we probably won't see anything about the post credit scene until way later on. Probably not until probably like Hawkeye, which I think comes out like November-ish. Comes out later this year, I think. Maybe not even until next year. So we got a long time before anything is relevant. But we'll see. But if you guys like the video, make sure you guys are subscribing, liking the video, comment down below what you guys thought of the movie, and share with your friends. And as always, keep watching movies and television. Stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.